Well, the cat's out of the bag now, isn't it? New subscribers, welcome to the 5th episode of Krush Dev Diary. So this week, you'll notice I'm recording in 1610 because that's what my monitors are, and my enjoyment of Krush comes first over the aspect ratio of this video. Last week, didn't really have a clear goal, but I did have a few sort of fragments of ideas that I maybe wanted to experiment with. You'll notice at the start of the game, there's now a little thing that comes up that says Krush in a suitably Gothic style, and that's kind of the major part of what I was doing. I'm planning on having a lot of user interface ornaments that I call them stickers, because that's kind of what they are. I want them to be like objects which I can apply to the screen to signify like a bonus multiplier or a new feat has been attained. But there's one at the start of the game as well. It goes 3, 2, 1, Krush, as an invitation to start playing. And a lot of the work I've been doing has been related to some of the transitions of those things on and off the screen, and thinking about, maybe having them as layered, animated things. What I really wanted is to have like a sort of a holographic look to them, but that might be beyond my ability. There it is. Kind of comes up. It's just a static graphic, but at some point I probably am going to split them into layers and maybe have like a sort of a specularity to them, so they look like shiny stickers that are applied to the screen. But that will come. I've abstracted this into its own class, and I'll reuse it an awful lot. So on the Debrief screen, if you get a new record, there'll be a shiny sticker that says record or something like that. Anyway, so a significant amount of time went into developing graphics and type testing. Here you see, me trying out some of the typefaces that I have in my collection. And I wanted it to have a kind of a Gothic feel to it. So I was looking at black letter and fett fracture and sort of, the traditional German style of calligraphy. I eventually settled on the one right at the bottom. I love the K with the flourish. It's called fett fracture. I think fracture is the style of letter. And it's wonderful. I love that sort of thing. It's very cool, very extreme sports. And it's designed to serve as a contrast to the other sort of more austere, simplistic style. The typography that exists at the minute is, I think it's Gotham. Pretty much a pure geometric sans serif, very austere, very boring, but kind of regal in a sense. So the exciting Gothic flashes of colour are going to serve as a major contrast to that. And this is some of the colour work that I did. You see I've got a holographic palette there for the gradients, and then different overlays. There's going to be a specular overlay, possibly some sort of holographic element. But it's the Gothic white text with a slightly stylized black outline. So that's kind of, one idea I have for style direction. A lot of other stuff going on behind the scenes, though. I have my changelog here. I'll read it off to you. Removed colour sinus, for the sake of simplicity. In previous versions, the lighting slowly pulsed on and off, but I removed it because I don't think it really added anything. It was very subtle anyway. Now we also have hole escalation, which is an exciting feature. Basically, in the later phases, holes start appearing in the arena, and hopefully I'll have a long game, and then you'll be able to see the holes, because the holes have been spruced up a bit. They're now 3D. They actually look pretty good. Because they were quite literally just holes. I didn't render the tile, but now I actually render the edges of the hole. So you'll see them. It looks cool. When as soon as pink phase hits, I think they start to appear, which is the third phase. It's not shown, but I've also changed the fall. When you fall into a hole, it looks a lot better. You now fall towards the center of a hole. There's kind of a gravitational pull towards it. Because in theory, if you had enough momentum, you could sort of go outside of the visible bounds of the hole, which doesn't really make any sense. I suppose it kind of does, if you think of the hole as just literally being a hole cut out of a sheet of paper. But with drawing the edges of those holes, it kind of made sense to limit you to the confines of the hole. So the logic I've added, it looks pretty natural, and it always means that everything looks okay. What's next? I did a lot of back-end work for the stickers. My sprite rendering class is not the most developed, and even the most simple transition, like the wipe on that you'll see the sticker, as it comes on, it progressively reveals itself. That required a bit of a major rework to my sprite writing class, because you've got to specify different texture dimensions, which I don't fully understand, but I'm learning about it. That's kind of part of the reason I'm doing Krush, before I move on to a more ambitious game, so I can learn the basics about, how to apply textures and stuff like that. In fact, one thing I did is I added support for non-square textures, because all of the textures I've been using have been square, because it's the simplest way of doing textures. But the stickers, they tend to be wider than they are tall, so I don't really want to waste a whole bunch of pixels making them square. There's a hole! I told you they look cool. So yeah, I've now added support for... This is a really boring update, yeah. I can now use rectangular textures with fewer frustrations. It's not a big deal, but it's something I did last week. What else did I do? The debrief menu. Now, I haven't really done a debrief menu, but there is a debrief menu method. It does now exist as a kind of a foundation. You'll notice when a game ends, it says debrief on the screen. And that's just very, very basic logic, because I've just got a single line that tells the font writer to write debrief in the center. Let's see what else we've got here. Yeah, so the sticker, I've done a few things. They've got a finite lifespan, so I can apply them to the screen, and then they manage themselves. They look after their own stickery nature. In fact, the sticker logic is where the bulk of the work has been done. This is the debrief screen. Not much to it, as you can see. But don't worry, because the debrief stuff is what I plan on working on today. Although having said that, I don't really have much time today. It's now 1:45, and I have visitors coming at 2, and they're the sort of visitors that I think might stay for a while. Damn social life getting in the way of my indie game development. What nonsense, eh? I might try and sneak at least a couple of hours there, and I'll paint some broad strokes on the debrief menu. It's not going to be pretty, it's not going to be refined, but I'm going to get the, stuff like what you scored and what the records are. I just need to lodge the record somewhere. I've already got a record class, so basically what I need to do is create a last game instance within the context of the program, lodge the records there, and then, I'll rough and ready, I'll display them on screen. It won't be pretty, but it'll be some progress on the debrief stuff. And some progress is better than none. All right, to wrap up, let's have a read through some of the comments. I would put them on screen, but I can't be bothered. Let's do this quickly. How about hats? No. What external frameworks are you using, if any? I'm using OpenSDL, or is it just SDL.net, rather, with, I'm hitting OpenGL pretty much directly as well. Power-ups, yes. Upgrade system, absolutely not. No, it's completely outside. I mean, the idea is that whenever you start a game of Krush, you are supposed to start from the same position. You control it with arrow keys, WASD, mouse, gamepad. Currently, it's gamepad only. But I do desperately need to spend some time on an alternate control method. Probably mouse, I think, because you do need that analog precision. Have I thought about making the arrows change size depending on their distance to the targets? Well, I have now, but they fade in and out. I don't know. I guess I could maybe tweak the size. I might try that at some point. How about adding more dozers as time goes on? I've tried it, but there are some challenges to fix there. I can actually set the number of dozers to 2 right now, but they don't. The dozers don't respect one another. That's the thing. They would collide. So I need to program the pathfinding so that they at least give each other a certain minimum distance. How do you control the car? Joypad. Car customization thing. Look, car customization is low down. It's superfluous, isn't it? Maybe at some point, what I might have is unlockable cars. Maybe I'll have if you've attained a certain score, like if you can score 1,000,000 points, you can get a golden car. And maybe a little sticker on your profile as well, like a golden point sticker. Anyway, long comment that I can't read. Car models, actually, that might happen. Different unlocks. Roguelike score attacker. Everything's a roguelike these days. Semi-randomly generated worlds with a variety of environments, blah, 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 blah. Different worlds, different tile sets. Possibility, but later down the line. Let's get the base game first. Car restarting is way too slow. No, it isn't. You're wrong. Maybe the bulldozer should not be invulnerable to holes. It should be its weakness that the player... No, it's the bulldozer. It has no weaknesses. Rare time targets worth several points, chain links. I like the idea of rare power-ups. Like shining gold things would be really cool. Downloading Game Jolt or other game sites. It's mine for now. Maybe later, at some point, I might consider ways of selling it, but until it's a more finished game, It's mine. Programming languages? C sharp. C sharp. Different arenas. The idea for the arena is to make them kind of a living, breathing thing that evolves over time. As you can see, we've got the holes that come in, and I may have other features as well. As far as changing the shape of the arena, it's kind of made out. It's a grid, so non-rectangular shapes are impossible. What is your opinion on your other game? My other game, too ambitious for a first project. I wanted to sort out my basic, like stuff like textures and that. I wanted to sort out those sort of problems first before I start tackling a more ambitious game. That's about it. That's all the comments. I might do like bonus-esque reading of comments in the future. I might. But I'm not really looking for major. I'm not really looking for suggestions at the minute. I know how Crusher was originally, and I'm just trying to recreate that as an exercise in terms of getting back into the saddle of game development. This is why I'm keeping relatively quiet with this channel, because I don't really want huge swathes of attention to be levied upon it. I just don't. I'm not doing this for the ad revenue. I'm not doing this for for anything really, just other than the purpose of making a game. The only reason I mentioned this channel on my bonus is because I know some of you would get mad at me if I had a secret channel without telling you. So I thought I'd at least do you a favour and tell you about it. I'm not going to go on about my game during bonus. It's a separate thing as far as I'm concerned. But I'm glad you can make it nonetheless. Anyway, I'm going to sign off. I'm running out of footage. And the longer I spend recording the diary, the less time I've got for developing, unfortunately. So, thank you very much for watching, and I shall bid you farewell.